All right, guys. We will handle a lot of the process for you. We will collect the documents from your seller. We will update everyone every 7 to 10 days. But I strongly suggest that you guys attend the BPO or appraisal. The reason being is sometimes, I'm not talking bad, but sometimes the BPO agents just come in, do a drive-by, take a picture, and leave. If you guys are there with when the BPO or appraisal are being completed, you guys can provide them with a copy of the signed contract you have. You can also present to them some comps that you have pulled, because sometimes the BPO agents aren't from around our area. They may be from 2 counties over, so they may not know the market like you do. Not saying that all the BPO agents or appraisers will review that, but it's worth a try. You can also, because you know the property, there may be mold in the closet. You can point that out to them. So I strongly suggest, if you guys have an extra 30 minutes, 40, please attend those BPO and appraisals. All right, so you guys attended the BPO appraisal. It came back. Usually it takes 2 to 3 weeks for that BPO to be processed. The bank will then state, for number purposes, let's say that we had a BPO come in at 200. The bank usually needs to net 84 to 88%. Now keep in mind, that's net. That's not the contract price. So we're going to have to start at that number and then add in commissions, closing costs, if there are any second liens, judgments, HOAs. That's how we will come to the actual purchase price. All right, so the bank's crazy. The house is definitely not worth $250,000. Our offer at 180 is the best they're going to get because the property has issues with it. The comps don't support this 250. That's okay. Just because a bank wants 250, that's when we're going to need you guys to step up, and we're going to have you help us. We're going to need to have 3 sold and 3 pending comps updated, usually within the last 60 days. A home inspection paid for by the buyer or the seller. Contractor estimates, an appraisal purchased by the buyer. Seller cannot purchase the appraisal, guys. Sorry about that. We do not have to have all of those 4 documents, but the more we have, the stronger our case is to the lender. Also, if there's any repairs, we ask that you get some colored pictures. Pictures are always a great way to tell a story. So we'll send all those items in to do a value dispute with the lender. Keep in mind, that takes time, so it's going to probably be another 2 to 3 weeks before we hear back from the lender if they're willing to come down for that 250 price point. Michelle, do you have anything you wanted to add in on that, or?
No, you got it all there.
All right, good. So, great. Bank buyer and seller all agree that we're going to sell the home now for 210. This does not mean, yay, we're approved, we're closing. I wish it did, but it doesn't. Unfortunately, now the lender has to send the file back to the investor, the underwriter, to get their approval on it, which can take another 2 weeks. Once the underwriter investor have approved it, they will issue the formal approval letter in writing. Sometimes that process can take 2 weeks, sometimes it can take up to 30 days. So we just need to keep everybody updated. We are in the final stretch and we are almost ready to go.
Thank you, Beth. We have another question on here. So in this case, we aren't trying to sell up the value of the home, correct? And I see you're shaking your head, yes. The lower the appraised value, the lower the seller's liability in this case, correct?
When it comes to a short sale, the uglier the better, is what I like to state. With a short sale, you don't want the seller spending any money on paint. You don't want to lay down new carpet. Don't pay for staging in the home. Don't pay for the expensive photos and the drone shots. Keep it simple. So yes, the lower the value is of the home, the better it, It's what the buyer is willing to pay is how it should be answered. Because if the buyer's only willing to pay 180 and the house is appraised at 175, great, we can make that work. But it comes back to what's the short sale lender going to accept, what the buyer is willing to pay, and what the seller is willing to accept. Does that make any sense?
I think that makes sense, and kind of just, you know, listening as you were speaking, I mean, it's kind of like if the lender's going to forgive a debt of $40,000, you know, in one case, or it's $60,000, you know, depending on the price and how it comes back with, it kind of, you know, let's say as for the seller, it's kind of like a wash, regardless of the 40 to 60, again, as long as the lender forgives that, let's call it, forgives that debt, and they don't hit the seller with that after the fact. So, yeah, so I think that answered your question. Tom, hopefully that answered kind of your question on there too. So, you know, I think it comes down to what's the value? What's the value and what's the buyer going to pay and what's the lender going to look at that, as opposed to how's the seller's liability going to be put into this?
Correct. And as the agents, you're sometimes the eyes for the bank too, because if the bank gets this property back via foreclosure, they're going to be stuck with the home with all these issues. So the bank also sometimes takes that into a factor. That's why the more information we can show them to support the value, the better.
And keep in mind all of that additional information regarding the condition of the home, it does have to be in writing. I have a lot of agents that send me messages that says, you know, the roof is leaking, there's a hole in the utility room, the carpet is coming up, the lender needs to know all this. And my response is, okay, but I can't just tell them that. They don't listen. They have to have documentation, pictures, repair estimates, those sort of things. That's really important.
All right. Once again, average time for a short sale. Let's be realistic when we're talking to the buyers and sellers. We're looking at roughly 4 to 6 months. Can we get them done in 90 days? Yes, in the perfect world. I had a short sale take 5 years. So is there a magic number? No. It's safe to say on average it's 4 to 6 months as long as all parties involved are cooperating.